Hey guys, have you ever heard messages, whether it's on podcasts or any other media like that, that say things like, you become what you think about all day, or whatever it is that's running through your mind the most is what you become? So if what you're ruminating about is resentment, or anger, or fear, or whatever it is that's running through your mind, that is what you're always becoming. Because I have heard that message in spiritual communities for years. Like back when I first started this sort of inner spiritual journey, I heard that a lot. And I remember in the beginning thinking, oh shit, that's what I do. I wake up in the morning and my mind immediately goes to fear of my symptoms or resentment over something my husband said or something a friend did 10 years ago. I literally wake up and that's what my mind is doing. And when I heard these messages, very well meaning messages through, audibles and podcasts, I would kind of freak out like shit. I literally am becoming a horrible person because I can't control the fact that my mind is ruminating constantly on a resentment that I've been holding on for 20 years or a fear that my symptoms are going to ruin my day or my month or my life. And then yesterday, or no, like 2 days ago, a friend of mine sent me an amazing podcast, this little episode. And when I first hit play, I was like, oh no, here's that same old worn out in my mind bullshit message of you will become the thoughts that dominate your mind. And I was like, here we go again. Thankfully, I had a very long walk ahead of me with my dog, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to listen to see if this one has a little bit of a different spin. And it did. And when I finished, and my whole body just felt so light and so tingly and so what I call truth filled. Because to me, truth feels light. Truth feels expansive. Truth feels like I don't know, bliss, I guess is the best word I can come up with. When my body had that experience after listening to this podcast, I thought, you know what? It's time to just sort of put it out there on my own channel. Again, I think what I've always alluded to, but I want to say it more clearly. The messages that are out there prolifically right now that make it seem like it is somehow on you to change your thought, to have more positive thoughts, to have better things spinning through your mind all day, or else. Those are not, as far as I can see, they're not truthful and they are not helpful. And what can we do with those? Because honestly, some of those podcasts that I've listened to that have that bullshit meter in them also have some really good description, some good pointing. So, what I heard in this beautiful podcast that my friend sent me that was so clear was this: when we can just begin to notice that our mind, human minds, especially human minds that happen to be in more sensitive, empathic systems like mine, when we can just notice, oh, there's that story again, or there's that resentment again, or there's that anger again, there's that fear again. Like when we can just start noticing, for me, it was I was caught in a spiral of resentment. When we can just notice that the mind is stuck in sort of a vortex or a massive loop of thinking, of resentment, of fear, of anger, of rage, of whatever it is, fear of symptoms, fear of an event. For me, it was resentment with like a book of evidence. Yeah. Like they're wrong. I'm right. When we can just notice, oh, I wake up every morning with this same pull, that vortex, that like vacuum. That's enough. This is not about trying to have better thoughts, better beliefs, better anything. What if it's enough to simply notice, oh, that programming is running and it feels compelling, it feels hypnotic, it feels like a trance, there is concrete evidence to support it. But instead of sort of getting collapsed with it or lost in it, we listen to what our body is telling us. We listen to our body's sort of personalized wake up sensations. For me, it's usually as I clear my throat, a ball in the throat, or a tightness in my chest, or like a little squeeze in my belly. Those are my flavors of wake up sensations in my body. Like, hey, hey, sweet girl. No, you're lost in a vortex of really compelling hypnotic thinking. And what if, and again, just what if, play with this. This is not a practice. This is not a, you need to go figure this out. What if you could just play with the idea that maybe when those vortexes of thought and fear and resentment and hate and anger and whatever it is your flavor of vortex is, what if it's actually for you? It's not something you need to get rid of. It's actually in service of you. And this is what I mean by that. And then this is kind of where I want to land. Whatever your flavor of hypnotic vortex of thinking. So for me lately, it's been resentment is in service of you. It's not a mistake that it is happening. It is not a mistake that whatever that is for you, that fear, that rage, that sadness, that grief, whatever it is, it's not a mistake. It's not something to get rid of. What if it's actually there to help shine a light on a part of you that is still needing some of your kindness, your understanding, your compassion, a simple like hand outstretched, like, oh, I see that part of me still needs some of my own attention. For me, what this looked like when I listened to that podcast episode was I noticed how much resentment has been pulling me in with mountains of evidence. And I've just been sort of living in that space, sort of unconsciously. What it did was I felt the wake up symptoms of like, hey, hey, sweet girl, there are parts of you right now that need your attention, not my husband's attention, not my parents' attention, not my sister's attention, not my friend's attention, my attention. And I was able to come home from that nice long walk listening to that podcast, sit in this little beautiful office of mine that I kind of consider my sanctuary. And I was able to sit with me and say, hey, I'm here. There's been a lot of resentment and a lot of bodily symptoms and sensations recently. Where do I? And when the way I talk to me is, hey, sweet girl, where do you need my kindness right now? For me, that vortex of resentment happened to be pointing straight to my husband. He shouldn't have said this. He shouldn't have done this. Da, 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 da. Whole list of absolute evidence. But when I was able to sit in my little sanctuary and just really tune in, I was able to see, oh, those are the parts of me still waiting for me. What are the parts of you still waiting for you? What if that vortex, that constant hypnotic talking, whether yours shows up as morning dread or evening panic or resentment or fear or rage, sadness, what if it is in service of you? We don't need it to go away. We need to gently tap us on the shoulder and say, could you just turn back in and see where you are waiting for you? And offer just a little kindness, a little grace, a little compassion. It changes everything. You do not need to change your thoughts. You do not need to change your beliefs. You do not need to change whatever ruminates in your head for days or weeks at a time. What if the rumination actually is there in service of you? Your body will guide you. Your sensations will point you to the parts of you that are still waiting for you. I hope this helps. It's one of the greatest things I'm seeing right now that just brings so much joy and love to my heart. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.